So, what makes you most vulnerable?
What makes me most vulnerable? I'm vulnerable every second of every day, which I kind of think is to my detriment, but it also has like brought so many incredible, um, moments into my life. I cry all the time if I'm not feeling good and I let it out and I kind of continue on in my life. I think growing up, a lot of people, they want you to be poised all the time, but I've always like stayed true to myself. And for a while I didn't, kind of like what you were saying about on the podcast about just, I had to like look back within and I realized that it's actually my superpower. So I am vulnerable all the time.
Our guest today is super exciting. We're giggling because we're really, really trying to nail our intros and outros, and it's like so similar that we're struggling with it a little. Struggling, $66.99. Struggling. Anyway, you'll hear about the $66.99s in our actual episode. But okay, intro for this is we have a fabulous guest called Chloe Makhani. She is a serial entrepreneur and a marketing genius. She runs Castellana and
an extraordinary restaurant here in LA that's like always booked up.
Always.
Beautiful aesthetic. Like she is just such a curator of community, curator of aesthetics, curator of everything. Like she's a visionary.
Yeah.
And you can even tell by the way she talks about how she concepts things, whether it's for herself personally or professionally. She sees it. Like she really is
she's a visionary.
A visionary. Like she really is such a, even like clairvoyance world, the ability to see things is such a thing. Like, and it's almost parallel to like imagination, but like the ability to see things and really vision it in your head, I feel like makes such a big difference in trying to manifest something or bring something to life. And oftentimes creatives are very much so that way. And how she was talking about how she has like almost like a photographic memory. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, she's incredible. We think you really are gonna like this one.
Yeah,
we enjoyed talking to someone that is a little bit different of a guest.
I was just gonna say it's a very
beauty
different
industry focused, but still very focused on beauty and what it means in our world.
Yeah, and empowering women all around the world. Even with her restaurant, you'll hear a little bit about her journey and her story and how they conceptualize this restaurant to be a person.
Yeah.
You'll hear more. You'll hear
so cool.
So cool because it really does, like, from a branding perspective, someone who's super interested in looking at all of this, I'm kind of looking at it and I'm like, wow, you actually personified your restaurant.
Yeah.
And you gave it a very clear identity so the consumer can immediately look at it and be like, oh yes, I feel like I'm this woman today. I'm this woman today.
Yeah, that could be a cool method for you to I think the thing she's talked about translates to so many other
for
spaces.
sure. For sure.
But so really exciting guest. But before we jump in, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm really good.
We've had 2 shoot days back to back after like a pretty jam-packed
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a lot. We had our launch party. I had the trade show, which took a lot out of me.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm good. I'm tired and I'm soaking in all the messages that I'm receiving.
Yeah.
Which, as woo-woo as that sounds, it's like everywhere I am, I take inspiration from things. And so I feel like the message to me is to slow down.
Yeah.
And
we're both getting that right now, for sure. I feel
it.
Really emotionally drained right now. Like I just, been having some tough personal conversations in my own personal relationships, and like
that's always hard.
It's like a lot of celebration, but also like a lot of just hard stuff going on simultaneously, and that's life. But I feel so depleted, and like I was telling Natasha, like I'm disappointed to have canceled my plans with a friend tonight that I was really excited to see, and like I want to make the time and prioritize the time for those important things in my life. And sometimes when you're building things and chasing your dreams, like you have to sacrifice other stuff, and like it's tough. But I'm just so like I've been so much more intentional lately about like tomorrow I do have a slower day.
Good.
And I was like, I cannot put something on Wednesday.
Good.
Like I have a couple meetings, but like I melt. Like
Yeah.
I can feel like I woke up this morning and I was like, I'm at my breaking point.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay.
Yeah.
But like if we had to do like I don't want to say had because this actually is energizing me, but like if we were filming again tomorrow or if I was going into the studio with Sephora tomorrow, like I know I would end up coming back home and like crying in my shower,
Yeah.
which is what happens when I push myself too hard.
Does that happen a lot still?
No, it doesn't happen a lot still. It's pretty isolated now. It's so funny, the crying in the shower. Like it's usually like when I come off of like a really overstimulating event and I get back and I don't even sometimes, or I didn't then really realize how much it was impacting me. And then I would like get home and something about being in the shower and just like washing it all off and being by myself in that moment. It's like when it all just like pours out. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just my body my body and my mind sending me a signal like that I need to practice more boundaries for my well-being. And like, you know, we talk about this, like I am a little bit more introverted. Like I'm an introverted extrovert.
Yeah.
I thrive on interaction and connection, but I need a lot of alone time, more than I think the average person. And I also wonder how much of that is clairvoyance, and I also wonder how much of that is just my nervous system still healing because it was in such a bad place for so many years, and the nervous system takes years to repair itself. And so I'm just having a lot of grace with myself, but I am feeling like I need to slow down.
You need to slow down. I'm feeling that too, not in such an intense way because mine is like, okay, I have to jump back and obviously deal with a bunch of shit that I have to deal with as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Managing so many people all the time, that is probably what drains me the most. And having, like this morning, you heard me sending voice notes like,
oh my gosh, you're doing like 4 things at once.
Yeah.
See, I get too overwhelmed. Like that is just not in the cards for me.
And
I don't know if that's just a right now thing, or maybe when my nervous system does fully repair, I can take on more, or maybe I'm just the type of person that needs more presence.
Exactly.
But you really can juggle a lot at once, and it's impressive.
I can, but I don't think it's necessarily the best thing.
Right.
I know that there's a time I can do it.
And that's personal to you. Like,
yes. Like I think I do a great job when I do things, but then when it's too much, obviously you're not going to focus on certain things, right? So focus is really important. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who are also like, you must focus on that one thing and that's it. And that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because even when it's not like I still put my love into everything that I do. Even when I'm cooking, I'm like, oh, I would like to watch an episode of The Beauty Manifest.
Yeah.
Or, and because I need to multitask, not because I can't focus on one thing, but because I like to do many things. Yeah. I think that's what I've discovered about me.
And it is so personal to each person. Like and we can't judge each other. Like what I need is so much different. And this goes back to like this episode too, and what she was telling us about how her parents raised her and her brothers. It's like, they did not raise them all the same way. They looked at what each individual needs and they catered accordingly. And I think it's the same thing as an adult in a professional setting, or working together as co-founders, or just like even with your partner Akash here. It's like we all need different things. We thrive in different ways. And I think it's just being aware of that and noticing the signals that your body sends you.
Yeah.
And so we're doing good.
We're doing good.
We're doing good. And like, I'm so excited to film our next episode. And I'm so excited for everyone to hear this conversation because it just like totally gave me a burst of energy.
Yeah, it really did.
So we hope you love it. And I guess we'll see you at the end.
See you soon.
Rolling and ready.
Okay. Today I'm super excited because I just met Chloe recently and she invited me to speak on Visionary Women, which is, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But Chloe, I really want you to explain a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you both for having me. Yeah. I'm so excited to be here because I feel like every podcast that I have been on has been like very work centered, and I'm just excited to be with 2 boss women who can just chat with me. So thank you again for having me. And Natasha and I met. We were assembling a panel together, and honestly, like, thank you for saying yes, because you had such a dynamic panel. Everyone was in awe of you. You have such a magnetic energy, and I think that that's rare these days because you guys know, but like, there's just so many things that can bring us down as women, and just hearing you speak and talk about all of your obstacles was so inspiring for everyone in the crowd. I got a lot of amazing comments.
Really? Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
no,
thank
I did.
you.
And it was a fun day for me too. So thank you for saying
And
yes.
you boss babe, you just ran the whole show. I didn't know anything about the foundation. Is it a foundation?
Yeah, so it's Visionary Women, and then the summit was our GenV summit. So it's like the next generation of visionary women, and we are all doing such incredible things. So we really wanted to, put a spotlight on the women that are doing and making a difference in the world. And I think you guys understand this because you guys are connectors, but finding a platform and finding an event where like-minded women can come together, connect, make new connections, make new friends, have a good time, and also just be inspired in everything that they're doing, because I think so many people have incredible ideas, but they're scared.
Yeah.
And it is scary. So that's what we're there for.
Finding people like Natasha who are willing to be honest about the experience and authentic, I think, is what is so unintimidating. Like, she told me about your event and she was just like over the moon after the experience. And it just sounds like you did a really killer job of curating people who are authentic.
Yeah, and I think, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that we really tried. A lot of people worked on the event. It wasn't just me. I'm the founder of GenV.
Yeah.
And I work very closely with Kelly Rote, who's the president right now. And one thing I will say is, you can be a brilliant person, but you need an incredible team behind you.
Yeah.
And I've been really lucky to have that with Visionary Women and with GenV, and also in my, with my team at work. So I think everything has grown tenfold when you have that energy behind you, and that, the people that are, I guess you could say, the experts of their field. So whether it's a volunteer position or whether, you're hired to do a job, it's like you can't do it alone. Even if you are the best, it's better to hire someone that can do something at 80%, because you will grow exponentially.
And hire people who might be better than you at certain things.
Exactly.
Like, you might need to be the vision, like, and oversee things, but I love when people are willing to hire people who are better than them at certain things.
So
like,
important.
they have expertise, and then just relinquish that, like, just delegate.
Yeah, and
that.
it's collaborative. Like, for example, even just us sitting here, like, I know we're just starting our conversation, but we're about to learn so much about each other, and we're about to, we probably will all leave with a lot of ideas after this conversation, and I think that's like the beauty of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's like just one pillar of what you do. Like, you're like,
That
this
is
is
the
like
one
my
part.
project, and then my team at work. So, like, what's the other side of it?
So, yes, I have a company with my two brothers. Natasha met my brothers.
I love them. They're such a cute family. They're so loving. They're so warm. They're so humble. Because they have this incredible. Yes, you'll tell about you're about. Tell me about your business.
Go ahead. We have a hospitality real estate company. It's called Avondale Equities. It's called Avondale Equities because we grew up on Avondale Street, and whenever we kind of grew up in this house where, our parents are very hospitable, and all of our friends would always come over and hang with us, and everyone would say, "Oh, we're meeting at Avondale tonight," and it kind of became this, gathering place.
Yeah.
And so we decided to name our hospitality company Avondale Equities because it is something that means a lot to us. And I think we brought a lot of love to our friend groups over the years and to all the people that we've met. And we have a yearly party that Natasha was just at.
Wild yearly party.
Epic.
Epic. Like, you can't even imagine how epic it was.
We really bring like all of the people in our lives that, whether they're our friends, whether we know them through work, whether we know them through like nonprofit organizations that have made an impact on us and that we love and that we connect to, and we bring all of them together. Yeah. And it's a whole day of fun in the sun, and it's a really good way to like let loose. I think that people just have so much stress in their lives.
Yeah.
And we kind of take that away for that one day.
I love it.
Natasha can talk about it, but we want people to leave with new friendships and new connections. Like, that's the point of the party. everyone's like, oh, there's always so many different people at your party. And I think that's the point.
Yeah.
That is the point.
And I really love that because I host mini
exactly-
versions
yes.
of that. mini versions. The party I throw at this tiny house compared to yours, she had 750 people there, which
It was
is
a lot.
it's like an Indian wedding.
Yeah.
But one day, Persian weddings like that too.
Persian weddings are big too. Maybe not 750, but like 500, 400, something like that.
Yeah.
So it felt like that, and it was a Wimbledon themed, and it was so cute. And I was like, "Are we gonna go play tennis?" Like that's what I thought.
I know you texted me and I was like, I mean, no, but I guess.
I'm new to America. That's my line here.
No, I love it.
I'm new to
I think,
America.
but I think that's the point of the party is like, you don't even really need to know what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come, you're open to the experience
Yes.
and like you see where it gets you. We also, something fun about it for us is that we curate a different theme every year. So this
fun.
year it was called the Makhani Open because tennis has been like a big theme in the media
Yeah.
and obviously Wimbledon and, you know, all of the opens around the world. So I think we wanted to, you know, pay tribute to what's going on like actually in today's world.
Yeah. And even just like the tennis aesthetic.
Yeah.
Wait, we need
like
to
how fun
cut
to dress that way.
A video over here of her outfit.
Oh
Thanks,
my gosh.
Nick.
She did.
because
She showed me a photo
So
of your tennis
sexy.
fit. It was so cute.
it was really cute.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a vision and I needed it to be brought to life. So I posted on my Instagram and I said, does anyone know anyone that can like bedazzle
Yeah.
like a bathing suit for me?
Yeah.
And a girlfriend of mine responded and said, I have the perfect person.
I mean,
So
it's LA, baby.
Yeah, so she put me in touch with Niz, and she's amazing. She really, first of all, she was a pleasure to work with, but she just like really listened to what I want and did a even
love
better
that.
job
Yeah.
than I ever could have imagined. So there were a lot of nice touches and it was fun. And it's supposed to be a fun day. So I think like that's the point. It's like no one should take themselves seriously
Yeah.
and they can unwind and let loose and all of that. But anyway, the reason I brought up the party is because the party is a reflection of our company and we have a lot of brands within the company. Number one, so one part of our company is that we basically bring a lot of like hospitality concepts that we believe in and that we love to properties that we purchase.
I'm curious, like, I'm not in the real estate realm at all. Like, does that mean like if they're hosting like an open house or like a party for like a new listing, like you would facilitate the hospitality aspect of that?
So what we do is like, let's say, think about like your favorite restaurant in New York. If we love that restaurant and we're like, we need that in LA, we'll go and find a property for them and we'll purchase the property and we'll put them in there. But what we do is we like to elevate areas around LA. So like
see.
LA's big. There's so much to do. There's so many people that like, honestly, they don't know where to go with their time.
Yeah.
And so we really, I think there are a lot of landlords around LA that will put anyone in their properties, but we really think about who goes into every building and we make sure that they fit the demographic.
Yeah.
We make sure that it's needed in the area and we want them to do well.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time with them on the build out. We spend a lot of time to help them with their marketing. And, you know, if they have an event department, we help with that. So we invest in all of our tenants. And I think
Right.
that more and more people are doing that for sure, but that's what really sets us apart from
My head
any
was
other
in such
landlord.
a different place.
No, it's all
I
good.
was like, wait.
I
how
know
does
no
this
one
work?
would really know what it is unless
Well, it's
you explain
niche,
it.
kind of,
It
but
is.
it's
It
also
is niche.
probably a huge opportunity. And it sounds like you're literally curating like the LA restaurant scene,
Yeah.
which is so cool.
We're trying. We're
Yes,
trying.
you are. I mean, your marketing for Casalena is beautiful. Is
The
that how you
restaurant
pronounce
looks
it?
Yes,
beautiful.
Casalena. So,
And the story behind the restaurant is so cute. I'll let you tell it.
oh, thank you. You remember Natasha is a sponge. She
I
remembers
know.
everything.
No, I have very
You
bad
are
memory.
good.
It's just when things are good, I remember it. Otherwise, I'm like, I have too many things to remember. That's how good it is.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
thanks for coming out. It was so nice to have you.
Another one of her epic parties.
Yeah.
If you want to go to cool parties in LA, you know, you know who to go to.
So Casalena it kind of came to be because number one, my parents got married at that property. So it is a very special property to us.
Cool.
And we wanted to bring it back to life and elevate it. And so we came up with the concept of Casa Lena, which means House of Light and also Lena's house. Lena is a character that we created, and Lena is in all of us. Like, Lena is not one type of person, but she's in all of us. So
I love this.
she can be a homemaker. She can be, a business woman and an entrepreneur. But whatever she is, she lives in the space, and there's space for all different iterations of Lena at the restaurant.
You are such a
Wow.
visionary.
She really is. Like, she painted this picture already for all of us.
Wow.
I think that, and by the way, it's like, obviously Lena's a woman, but, she has male friends.
Mm-hmm.
She might have a husband. She might be dating someone. She might have guy friends. She might have brothers. So there are men in the space as well.
Yes.
I think it's just like we centered it around Lena
I
because
love that.
we really wanted the space to have a lot of light in it. And so that's the other part of it, is that it means House of Light. And so there
Right.
are incredible light fixtures all throughout the space. So as you walk through, it's like really illuminated.
Mm-hmm.
And we use Lena to really bring it to life. But like I said, it's like really Lena could be anyone. She could be celebrating someone's birthday. She could be coming in for tea. She could be coming in for a pizza at the bar for our bar menu. She could be coming for date night. She could be bringing in her family in for brunch. So I think that that's really how we allowed it to be for everyone, because it's really difficult to have a restaurant have such a wide and diverse demographic.
Right.
So this is kind of how we did that.
Right.
We seat upwards of 1,200 people a day. So it's a large space and
Yeah.
has a big
Always fully
footprint. And we are always fully booked, but I
Always
think it's
fully booked.
because you could be anyone and you could enjoy
Yeah.
that space. And I
Yeah.
think that's what makes us stand out, because someone one time told me, they were like, you can't be everything to everyone. And we're not everything to everyone, but we have a little bit of something for everyone. And I think
Yeah.
that is what makes us stand out. We have a robust dinner menu that my brother Brandon works very closely with our chef team on, with our executive chef, Lobo Leon. And he really makes sure that everything that's put on the menu, like, it is for a specific person. So we have our vegetarian options, we have our gluten-free options. We have, because we want you to come in and we want it to be easy.
Yeah.
We want it to be a seamless experience.
So I feel like so much of the underlying theme of everything that you've created is family.
Yeah.
And
That's a good point.
Obviously connecting and connection. But like, what about your upbringing? Like, what about your parents? I know you mentioned just being like the hub for all of your friends growing up, and like having that energy in your household probably created an opportunity for you guys to really learn how to curate a hospitable space for people. But like, how did that happen? Like, that's such an extraordinary skill set. Like, is it cultural? Is it just who your parents are?
I think that's a great question. I've never been asked that before, but if I had to zone in, I think that first of all, my parents are really incredible.
Yeah,
and
it sounds like it.
They're immigrants.
Uh-huh.
They're here from Iran. So I think a little bit of it is their background, but I think a lot of it is the fact that they moved to America when they were like 12 and 13 years old.
Wow.
And my dad came over
So
too.
they have the essence within them, but they
Yes.
really adapted to this world. And I think that they are very open-minded and they give us their opinions, but they also really trust us
Mm-hmm.
in all of our decision-making skills. And I think that, look, I think in our own, we're all very different, the three of us. I'm the first, then it's Brandon, and then it's Tyler.
Oh, okay.
But they really raised each of us, like, depending on what we needed. And I think that is something that's
Wow.
really not discussed with, not that I'm not a parent, but like I have a lot of friends that are parents now, and they've been, talking to me about like what the parenting books say.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yes.
know if that's discussed. And I think that they really treated each of us differently. And when I speak to my mom about it, she says, well, you all needed different things because you're different people.
Oh, I love that.
When you say different, like how? Give us an example.
I think at our core, we're very similar. We have the same values. We love our family. It's always family first, and also like our inner circle. But we're very giving. And you mentioned something, and I think it's specifically about the boys. Like they're very humble. But
so are you.
Thank you.
No, it's not specifically. It's all of you guys combined.
you.
You have this energy where it's like very giving, but also very, very welcoming. Like you're like, here, come and be part of this. It's not like we're showing you what we have. It's like we're bringing you as part of it.
I think it really stems from our parents, and I think
That's amazing.
I was talking about Lena. I think a lot of Lena is my mom.
Wow.
Both of my parents, but you know, a lot of the recipes, what we say is Lena's recipes have been passed down from generation to generation. Like, I think some parents, they don't, like when someone enters their house, it's like, oh my God, like what's going on? My mom was always like, oh, let me chop up some fruit. And there was fruit on the table.
Yeah.
Or she would say like, oh, are you guys hungry? And like, there would be some crazy like gourmet meal. She would say it was just like whipped up, but I think it was fun for them to have so much like energy in the house. And so they also loved it and they like played into it. And my dad was in the hospitality world for a really long time. So I think we grew up in it. But more than anything, besides, you know, his journey of entrepreneurship with the hospitality world, and my mom just being like such an amazing woman, and she's very brilliant herself. She was a stockbroker for a really long time. But I think it's really like their essence and like them wanting us to be happy. So they made their home comfortable for us to feel comfortable inviting our friends in.
Yeah.
Because I know not no other parent, that's like an extreme, but a lot of other parents like wouldn't like a bunch of people sleeping at their home and like in their space, but they never pushed it away. And I think that it allowed us to feel really comfortable in who we are and also kind of lean into this like, you know, more mentality, like Natasha, more mentality.
I was like, what?
I think
Building that community.
Yeah, I think it's like there is enough room for everyone.
I love that.
Yes.
And there is enough room for everyone to be great. There's enough, like, we can be giving and it will not make us less.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
love
think that that's something that we also carry into our business, especially like with our team. Like, we really want them to be happy. And look, it's our first go, so I'm sure we make some mistakes, but we really care about like their well-being.
And you can see that in them. You can see the way that they react with you, the way they speak to you, the way that they are. They're very, like when you see your team giving so much passion and love to your business. I was just talking to Melinda about this morning. She's like, am I going to post this on our social? Like she was so, one of my team members was so adamant about not posting something because it would ruin her beautiful feed. Yeah. And I'm like, you care more than I do.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
She's
and I felt
invested.
that
No, I
from
totally
your,
get that.
from your team.
I think it's so funny. My dad always is like, your friend is here. And I'm like, first of all, like, yes, they actually really are my friends.
Yeah.
But like, we all work together.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny
cute.
when he says that. He'll be like, yeah, like your friend. And a lot of other people, they call them our friends. And like, I think that is a testament to them actually being our friends.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're their friends as well. I mean, we're usually working, but like, of course we talk about other things. In the end, we're all human beings. I think that's something that Instagram has forgotten is that we all are humans.
Yes.
And we only have a certain amount of energy. We are doing our best every single day, but we need to be well.
Yeah.
And we need to be physically and mentally well. Otherwise, our work will suffer. Otherwise, our relationships will suffer.
Yeah.
And I think that Brandon, Tyler, and myself really put a lot of emphasis on it because we want whoever is going to be working with us to be with us for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
I think that we have a growth mindset. And like I said, it's our first rodeo. So like, we don't know exactly what we're doing.
When you say first rodeo, what do you mean?
I mean, like, this is our first big company and now we employ about 250 people.
Okay.
Wow.
So we've grown a lot in the past couple of years, and we're continuing to grow. But my point is like, hopefully it's our only company and we do it right is my point. Like,
yes, yeah.
And so I think we're very cognizant of the way everything is handled.
Well,
So nice.
you know what this kind of reminds me of is I listened to like a series of interviews. I think it was on Dak Shepard's Armchair Experts.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
Right? So good.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. But he interviewed like a series of the Hudson families, like Kate Hudson, Goldie Hawn.
Ooh,
like
I
all
want to
of-
watch that one.
That's
all
a
of the
good one. I
Hudsons,
want
and
to
they are such a
listen to that.
powerhouse family. Like, and all of them work together in some way, but also work independently. And they have these different companies. And it was just so interesting to hear how a family can work together in that way and it not get too complicated, like financially
Yeah.
and
Totally.
professionally and all of these things. But hearing you talk about this, it makes so much sense that you have that kind of culture in your company and that you treat your employees like friends. Like it has
Yeah.
like that, obviously professionally, but as friends
No, of
because you're working
course.
with your family. So you're
Yeah.
already in that kind of setting where it's like you care so deeply about the people that you're working with. You love them so hard.
Yeah.
And then like how do we navigate and protect that fiercely? And so that's probably trickling down to your whole organization.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
hope so. Well, thank you for saying that. And I
Yeah.
think, look, I think the world has just changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, parenthood has changed. You know, there are a lot of working moms
Yes.
more than in the past
Yeah.
because because of necessity or because, you know, they want that. And
Yeah.
I think that the world is a bigger place now. Whatever way it is, like there's a lot more going on in the world today. So I think people need to adapt and people need to understand. And I think that I think everything is also like a case by case basis. We
Kind of like the way your mom raised you guys.
Yeah.
that's very true. That's a good one.
Circumstantial. You're looking at the human
Thank you,
being.
Mom, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, she did a great job, and both of my parents did. I think that they are also our friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, they were at the party, and I got a lot of messages after the party saying like, "Oh my God, we hung with your parents, and we had so much fun with them."
I was
and they have-
looking for them.
That's the
I know
best.
it's hard to find people. I didn't see a lot of people actually, unfortunately.
I bet.
But yeah, I think that they understand the nuances of life, and if they didn't, they quickly adapted to like the new world. My mom got married when she was a little bit older, and I think that was also something different for her culture when a lot of women were getting married really young. By the way, no hate to
No,
women that
of
get
course.
married
Yeah.
young or older.
Yeah.
I just think that like everything is acceptable now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before it wasn't. So just like pushing the boundaries, I think both of my parents did in a lot of ways.
I mean, our world, it gets so polarized. And I
Yeah.
think that's what people are realizing. Like, things are not black or white.
No.
Like, whether it's politics, business, family, how you raise your children, like,
Yeah.
there is a spectrum. And, like, it's looking at
Definitely.
the human being, it's looking at the situation. And
Exactly.
that's probably why you're so good at curating, like, neighborhoods for LA and curating spaces for these restaurants and looking at the demographic because you were raised in a way that's, like, so circumstantial and so unpolarized in such a positive
Yeah.
way.
That's it. I mean, you're just drawing a lot of parallels that maybe I didn't ever think of because it was just like, you know, within us. But we, like, with everything that we do, we really try to think about the details because I think that the details are what, like,
Yeah.
even with your packaging, I was actually thinking about it. Like, you have a beautiful packaging in the lipstick, and then you have the mirror, and it's like,
Makes such a difference.
I mean, I know there are a lot of great makeup brands, but like I've never seen anything like that. And I think that really makes you stand out. And I think that we really think about all of those little details as well. Like at the restaurant, we have at Casalino, we have matchbooks that people like love. We have merch.
I love that.
We have
It's so
candles.
important.
Yeah, everyone.
Candles?
Yes, I should have brought you one. I'll
Oh my
send you one.
gosh.
But I think we like think about all of those little things because
it's important.
people are like, why? Why are you wasting your time? But those are the little things that make the difference.
I
Yes.
agree. 100%. Even your hats at your party, like those are things I would love to do all the time.
The details.
Yeah, I think the details, they're memorable.
Yeah.
And like I know it's expensive, and I
Yeah.
know it's like, for example, adding the mirror probably added a lot to your, but those are the things that people remember.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about like branded moments that live in people's minds for a really long time. So that's kind of how we think about it. And funny that you said that how we like curate neighborhoods, because before our company was called Avondale Equities, it was called Neighborhood.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. It's almost like you're clairvoyant. She is.
I feel like, okay, so you touched on digital boundaries and, you know, like how social media and like how that's impacting us as a culture, but also obviously the work that you do, because you are kind of marketing, like you said, you kind of described as like when you are running so much, you're an entrepreneur, you're curating these parties, you're running this business, you have this side project empowering women. How are you managing digital boundaries, not just on your social media, because you have quite a following, right? Like,
I don't know if it's that big, but like,
well, by LA
It's a
standards,
real people following.
It's a
I
real-
like to
yeah.
call
They're
it
real
that
people,
because you
they're
know
not-
a lot of people.
but you're putting
in real
yourself
life.
out there.
Yeah.
Following counts aside, you're putting yourself out there in a big way.
Yeah.
Through social media. And then you're also, I would imagine, constantly just on your devices all day, interacting with people, scheduling things.
yeah. So I
finish
think
that.
we used to, specifically for Castellana, we were, you know, doing a lot, and we were kind of like just trying to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Because we have such a big footprint.
Yeah.
And we have like an incredible events department. You know, we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, brunch. Like we have, you know, all of those things. So I wanted to be everywhere, and it was working for us for a really long time. But then I started to get so many asks. Oh, we want to partner with you. We want to do a drink with you. We want to do that. We want to do this. We want to do this. And I, 2 weeks ago, had a meeting with my team, and we were like, what has worked for us thus far has been great,
Yeah.
but it's okay to change, you know, and pivot. And so
Yes.
we are pivoting. We're saying yes to bigger projects, and we're saying no to the smaller projects.
That makes sense.
And that's okay, because I think with every business at different points, you're going to want to do different things that are going to impact you the most.
You seem so like chill, calm, cool, and collected.
She
But like
really is.
with that overload of asks, like was
Yeah.
there overwhelm that happened first? Like was there a moment of like,
yeah, I
before you
think-
pivot?
Yeah, I think so. I think I have a lot of overwhelming moments,
Yeah.
but as my team has grown, I've learned to lean on them a lot, and
Good.
You feel supported.
I feel super supported.
That's
and
amazing.
I think that I was just wearing a lot of hats initially.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
But, you know, as you grow, you have the luxury of hiring new people. And I think that's been like the best part for me, is just really getting to work with people that have taught me a lot, and hopefully they've learned from me as well. And it's really been like a collaborative effort. So
You're a people person.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. I feel like you need people around you.
I do.
But you also like your own time.
No, I do. And my mom always says, she's like, you love to be around people. And I do. I love people. I think everyone is so unique, and everyone's story is so special. And I think that every single person on this planet Earth literally has something special to give.
Aww.
And you can learn something really great about them. Like whenever I sit next to someone on a plane, I'm like, and I chat with them, I'm like, wow.
She's like me.
I know. I'm like, you guys are
like,
the
"Oh
extroverts
my
over here.
gosh."
I'm the one that's like, I'm with my cats at my
But
house.
I really do need my alone time.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I live alone, and I love,
Ooh, I didn't know that.
yeah, and I love my home. It's like, I don't know, it's just like kind of my sanctuary.
Yes.
It must be so Instagrammable. I can't even imagine what
house?
your own home, like yours, would
It's
be
cute.
so cute.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it needs to be cleaned right now, but but yeah, no, I think it's I have an office in there that I used to work out of more so, but as the team has grown, we just added another office in West Hollywood, very close
Nice.
to me. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The
That's
past couple of
good.
years have been a lot of fun.
Have you had any traumatic challenges or issues that you faced?
Look, I think the thing about the hospitality industry is that every day is unpredictable, and you really need to like be on your toes and be nimble and pivot. But we are. and we do our best. I also think that's my new thing is like, I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
And not everything is going to be perfect, but we're just doing our best.
Yeah.
And I even see it with my team. Like sometimes they'll be like, oh, I think maybe I could have done a better job on the video or like, and I'm like, it's great. It's good. And,
Yeah.
And not even that it's good enough. It's just that we're all so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
All of us. Like, there's no such thing as perfect. I think that we also like to the outside, they might think it is perfect, you know, like
Right.
Yeah.
no one else notices.
Yeah.
We're hypercritical.
Yeah, we really are.
I know we're touching on a lot of things. I feel like Natasha and I have just organically been talking about lately. Like, you know, I can be such a hard ass when it comes to work. And I've worked for Sephora for going on 10 years. And in corporate America, you really have to stand up for yourself and you really have to advocate for yourself to climb that ladder and
Definitely.
get opportunity. And I am a bit of a perfectionist and I take anything that I do very seriously. I'm not capable of half-assing something, at least professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For myself, sometimes yes.
But
And
that's because
where
you're a doer and
Yeah.
you are an entrepreneur within
There,
yourself.
see,
Like,
we
I-
said this yesterday. She's
I'm-
like, I don't know if I'm an entrepreneur.
No,
I'm
you
like,
are.
yes,
I didn't.
you are.
No, I didn't.
She
I
didn't.
feel
Now you know.
I think a
Thank
lot
you
of
very
people in the
much.
corporate world, they are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They drive in a corporate environment and that's totally fine. I think you can be both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I have a manifestation board.
Okay, let's get into
Speaking our
this.
language,
Yeah.
I'll show you mine
Tell
if you
us-
show me
tell
yours.
us
I will
your
definitely show-
methods.
So I usually, it depends on the weekend. It depends how busy I am, but I usually spend like 10 minutes a day and I'll just like cut out photos and I'll add them to the wall.
What?
Yeah.
Every day.
I mean, look, like last week I didn't because it was the week before the party and
Yeah.
I was very busy. The week before that I did.
Okay.
Today I did not because I'm here with you all. But yeah, maybe like 3 times a week I do.
Okay.
And on certain weeks I don't really need to manifest anything and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm visual.
Love it.
I am like the kind of person that literally remembers every single thing on my calendar by looking at it. I know what day is what, and people will be like, how do you know that that's a Monday? And I'm like, I can see it on my calendar.
You have a bit
Yeah.
of like a photographic
Yeah,
memory.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit photographic. And I think more than that, it's that I know where I'm going and I can see where I'm going. And my mom always says it to me. She's like, you just know what you want and like you'll figure out how to get there. And I think it's not as simple as that because it's not like you put it on the board and it happens. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
Everyone's
Yeah.
like, oh, you put it on the board and it just, came out of thin air. And I'm like, no.
No.
It's just a reminder of what you're working towards. I think that's what manifestation is. It's not that like, oh, I put, Brad Pitt on my wall and now I'm dating him.
Yeah.
It's this person embodies somebody, that I want my man to look like.
Right.
Or this is the house I want to live in.
Right.
This is the area I want to live in. This is how big I want my team to be. This is what I want my menu to look like at my next restaurant. I think it could be very small and I think it
Wow.
could be very big. But I think it really is more like an embodiment of what you're working towards, not necessarily like the person or the thing that you're going to actually get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with To Be Magnetic?
Yeah. It's like
It's
the-
TBM. It's this woman who has built this entire program on manifestation, and kind of how to manifest. And I have a lot of people in my circle who have taken it. I've dabbled in it. I kind of fell off of it. I'll
Okay.
get back to it. But the way you're explaining kind of your
What's her name?
manifestation methods, I'm
I
forgetting
forgot
the
her
woman's name.
but you told me about her and I did some research on it.
she
It
does
looks really-
classes.
She does some stuff in person, but the program is kind of like virtual at your
Okay,
own
cool.
speed. So it's self-guided and it's a lot of like journaling and just creating vision and like all of that. But the way that you embody and kind of place your energy towards manifestation, there's so much out there that leans a little bit on the toxic positivity side for manifestation and stuff. And there's also a lot out there that feels a little bit too woo-woo, I think, to the mainstream.
Okay.
And I think she does a really good job of kind of finding that middle ground. And just the way you're kind of explaining how you manifest reminded me. So I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
curious if she's ever dabbled.
I haven't, but I think I just found what worked for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
amazing.
I think
I like that a lot.
I know where I want to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a long road ahead. I don't think I'm there, and I think there's a lot that has to be done to get there. But I think that I really believe in myself, and I really believe in my products. And
Yeah.
I believe that the boys do as well.
Yeah.
And so people want to work with I don't know what the toxic positivity thing is, but people want to work with happy,
Oh, for
positive,
sure.
fun
Yeah, of
people.
course,
Agreed.
And I
energy.
think that even in like your darkest moments, by the way, I have dark moments, so does literally everyone on this
Yeah.
planet Earth.
Everyone.
And if they say they don't, they
Yes.
are lying to you. But I think just continuing to bring yourself back up in whatever way that might be. Like for
Yeah.
me, it's going to hot yoga, it's seeing my friends, it's
Why are
spending
we so
time with my friends.
everything that's why I'm so silent. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I love
A lot of
I go to
parallels.
Silver Springs, and by the way, shout out to Silver Springs. If you haven't been, you
What
should
is
go.
Silver Springs?
It's a hot yoga place in West Hollywood, and
I go to Hot 8.
Hot eight's amazing too.
And I'm bar trained as well.
Oh,
so I
really?
love this. Yes, we need to go together.
I would love to go with you.
Let's do.
I also go to a workout class. It's called Poly Solo, and shout out to him. I have a lot of mentors. Like I think I find mentors in everything that I do because I think everyone can teach you something.
That's
Yes.
so important.
And I think that anyone who pretends that they know everything, and are arrogant are in the wrong.
Yeah.
Because you'll never know everything, and you can always learn. And I even see it with my parents. Like they're always learning, they're always like chatting with new people, and they're walking away with, a different mindset or a great conversation or whatever it might be. And they're older than me. So I think it's just never too late to learn, and it's never too late to begin. I think that in today's world, everyone's like, oh, I'm too old to start, or I passed my prime or whatever, but there's no such thing.
Yeah.
And I think that there's this, I don't know, I just think it's an energy shift, and you need to really like make sure that you remind yourself that like you will get to where you want to be. It just sometimes takes longer.
Yeah.
And something that might have happened for someone else at a younger age or earlier than when it happened for you. It's just because it was their divine timing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean that it's better or worse than what you have. And I think if you continue to keep your eye on the prize, like for me, that's why I have my manifestation board, because I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to get, and this is what I'm working towards. And it's a reminder of what we're building. It keeps me excited too. I think it's like it's a manifestation board is like really supposed to be a happy thing.
Because
Yeah.
it's something you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I dream of things and I'm like,
Like manifest dreaming.
literally, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so it happened. And then I wake up
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, it was just,
Oh, I
don't-
do that all
I
the
don't
time.
know if it was a dream or if it was real, but it's good that I like,
I have an album on my phone that's just manifest, and it's all the things that I
Really? That's
want
great.
all the time, because it's easy. It's on my phone. I'm always on my phone. I screenshot stuff and I put it straight in there, like houses that I like, ring, how I wanted to get proposed to, like
Oh,
all these
amazing.
things. Yeah, I've
that's beautiful.
and one thing to your point that I will say is, I always say this to my fiance. We're both CEOs. We're both super entrepreneurs. We're like 24/7 working, and obviously there's so much struggle, right, in entrepreneurship. There's always going to be challenges.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're like always optimistic, but we're like, I hope this works, because we're putting our blood, sweat, tears into this, and we need to make sure this works for us. And one thing I always tell him is the way that we got each other and the way that we found each other so late, like late in, what do you call these? 66.99s?
Quotes?
Oh,
Quotes.
Air
Yeah.
quotes?
No, because, audio people. For people who can't see. What do you call these?
I don't know. I've never heard
My
that
brain.
before.
66.99s,
What are 66.99?
Oh, the way that they're done. Like,
like,
they look like 66.99.
I've never thought
I
of
It's
never
maybe
heard
it's an
anyone
English
say that.
school thing, a British school thing in Hong Kong. Oh, our teachers used to be like, do the 66.99s.
oh, I've never heard
Maybe
that.
they meant it in a pervy way, like 69, and they were messing with us. Anyway,
You mean like
like
Parenthesis, like quotes.
quotes.
Yeah.
I guess
I've
'cause
just never heard
if
of
they're
it called
the quotes are facing
66.99.
each other, it would look like a 6
Now
and
I have
then
to
a
look.
9.
Okay,
Look
they're
at it on the phone.
in Hong Kong. They called
Like,
it 66.
did you have
I was gonna say
creepy
something
teachers?
so cute. Maybe they were creepy teachers. I'm having a
No,
realization.
I'm just kidding.
moment.
Now I'm
No, it
confused.
makes sense. Like because they're
66.99s.
they're reversed the opposite way. So on this side it looks
They
like a 6,
do
on that
look
side it
like
looks like a
it, but
9.
I just never have been. I've never heard that.
No.
Well,
It's also there's not a hole in the.
in the
6 and the
but it
9.
looks like a 6.
Yeah.
It's not like a perfect example of the 66.99s. Now everyone knows.
And I
Okay,
think if you do like
I learned
cursive-
something new today, everyone.
69ers is not a football team here.
some sort of sports team, you're asking
Something.
the wrong girl.
Oh,
Well,
I-
it's not the
40
69ers,
49ers.
49ers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even hear.
49ers, but yeah. Close. Honestly, it's fine.
Not bad. Okay,
Well, what's your
okay,
comment? I'm not from America. What do you
I'm
say?
not. I'm new
don't
to
go there.
America.
I'm new to America.
I'm
She's
new
new
to
to America,
America.
everyone. But
Okay.
it's good. I learned something new today. So I didn't know that.
66.99. You
Isn't
only hear the pervert things from me.
69ers a
Okay.
sports team?
Anyway.
And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, isn't your fiance like a big sports guy?
Yeah, but
She doesn't care for the sports.
yeah, I just observe
I feel
from
so
afar.
good because I
I
am
grew up with
learning now.
surfers. I grew up in San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
She's a surfer chick. She's gonna teach me how to
No,
surf.
I'm not a surfer chick now, but
I bet you can
I
still
haven't
jump
surfed
on
in
and be
so
good.
long.
Okay, but my point was a really cute message, which I always tell him is like, if we found each other at a time where we really didn't think we could, we had all these broken relationships, bad relationships, issues with people that we never found our soulmate or our person that we really felt like we were best friends with, and we found it now, what makes you think that we're not going to have that with our business? Suddenly it's going to click. Once you put all this hard work into yourself, it's going to happen. So you just have to manifest it the way that we manifested each other. Because I
Totally.
truly believe
Beautiful
we
I
manifest.
love that.
mentality.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
So yeah.
I think that's a good reminder.
So for you, if it's like whatever you're trying to manifest for, you just think of all the positive shit that you've been doing and how amazing it's like Castellina is amazing. You literally built it from, I didn't know it before, but like the marketing, the
Yeah, no, we started from the beginning, and I want to say that I really I listened to my intuition. Like
Yeah.
I did whatever I needed to do,
I love it.
and a lot of times as I always joke with my team, I'm like, I'll do anything that fills our tables, and they're like, okay.
I feel that.
So I think that was my mentality for a really long time. Like I never felt ashamed to do anything, and I think something about me is that I am always very vulnerable with people, and I think I don't want to say it's my superpower because a lot of times people are like, you shouldn't be saying that to people, but I think it's the reason I connect with
yes.
Yeah.
other individuals
I
so
agree.
easily. It's because I think everyone's story should be shared.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go walk up to a random person on the street and share it, but it's nice to share. It's nice to be open. I think that when people are really secretive, I get it. They might be doing it for themselves, but
Yeah.
like I actually sometimes think it like harms them in a lot of ways.
It's so what I'm trying to do with the beauty industry.
Yeah.
Sephora allows me to use their platform for mental health advocacy. And
Love that.
what I'm trying to do is bring vulnerability to the surface of the beauty industry because it should start from within. Like beauty should start from how you feel
Totally.
and how you exude and what your energy feels like. I recently I was doing an interview and I was talking about this, and I just feel like the more that we can be vulnerable with each other, the more we can connect. Those question marks and the lack of sharing, and as we become more and more isolated and more curated through Instagram,
Yeah.
the lack of sharing the real shit is making us create stories in our heads
Yeah.
about one another. I can almost I can liken it only to like, when you're driving in LA and someone cuts you off. We were talking about this, and like you get all pissed off at them, but like you don't know what's going on. They might be
Yeah.
going to meet their mom who has cancer. I was just saying this in another episode, but like I just so agree with what you're saying, and I think it translates to every business and every industry.
Yeah.
Even our politics, like everything. Like let's just share a little bit more. Let's connect a little bit more so we can see each other
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not create stories and become defensive and isolated.
I think so too. And I also, like, speaking of makeup and beauty, and I think beauty is really like from the inside out.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I'm happy, I feel the most beautiful.
Yes.
Whether I have a pimple on my face or whether I don't.
Yeah.
And I think that there is, I mean, like, I love makeup, by the way. I think it's so fun, and it's exciting to get ready for the day. And I try to make every day fun for me with what I wear. But even if it's like a soft glam or just mascara or like,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit of blush, a little bit of highlighter, whatever it is, I think that there is, when you feel good about yourself, you're kind to people. You're softer in the way that you,
Speaking my lingo
just,
right here.
yeah, you're softer in the way that
It's true.
you communicate, because you can say the same thing
Yeah.
that might be difficult to deliver in a very nice way.
Yeah.
And I actually think I learned that from my mom, because
Wow.
she is a very strong woman, but she is so soft and so poised, and she's beautiful. But really, she's beautiful on the outside, but she shines brighter than anyone else because she's beautiful on the inside first.
I love
And
that.
every time people talk to her, they come up to me, "Oh my God, I had the most incredible conversation with your mom."
Wow.
And I think it's because she genuinely feels happy. She never compares herself to other people.
Wow.
And I think that growing up in LA, I really had to learn that from her,
Yeah,
because
my gosh.
it's really easy to
Yeah.
look around, but she really has allowed me to stay true to myself. And I really don't compare myself to other people, not because I don't see the beauty in others. I think that there might be a more beautiful person than me. There might be a more successful person than me. There might be a kinder person than me. There might be someone with more money, whatever it is, but that's okay. It doesn't mean that I can't be happy. There is enough room for every single person in this
Yeah.
world to get what they want,
Yeah.
to be happy, to be kind while they're doing it, because I think so many people are not. And
Yeah.
you really see it on the streets of LA, like with people
Yeah.
driving. I'm like, you
That's always my example, because
Yeah.
I
So
live
crazy.
part-time in Nashville, and like,
Oh,
so it's
amazing.
just really
I love
shown me.
Nashville.
But the people, when you drive out in Nashville, it's like you turn on your blinker, they slow down. Here, you turn on your blinker, they speed up.
It's so true. And I think, unfortunately, LA is such a beautiful place, but there are a lot of demons that come with living in
To
LA.
be honest, that's everywhere. Like Hong Kong, oh my gosh. If you
I've-
fall on the floor, people will be like, "Oh, you're in my way."
Really?
Yeah, like if you fell on the floor in LA, someone will help you. But then I can't say that's everywhere in Hong Kong, right? Like,
No,
Right.
but Natasha moved here, and she was like, everyone in LA is so nice. And I'm like, I hear you. There are nice people here, but it's certainly not the reputation this city has compared to other cities
Yeah,
in the United
Absolutely.
States.
I
But
also
her
think
experience is
I
different.
also think this is something I've noticed, and I think everyone, hopefully whoever's listening to this podcast, can practice this. If you walk into a store and you're smiling and you're happy, and they are automatically nice to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
when you are grumpy and you have an attitude,
They
who
pick up
wants to
that
serve
energy.
you?
For sure.
And
For
I
sure.
think it really goes into like every part of your day, like
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Mm.
But whenever I really try to, as much as I can, be sweet with everyone, even if I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you don't know what's going on in their life, but more than that, people pick up on your energy and they give you the same exact energy
It
back.
helps you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a silly example, but because I live between the two cities, I occasionally have to travel with my cats. And when I take them through TSA, it can be really stressful. And like
Totally.
the first few times, like I went into it stressy, and I recognized that exactly. And this last time I did it, I was just like, I went to the
Yep.
TSA officer and I was just like, hey, how's your day going? Like,
Yep.
Brought positive energy, and the experience was just seamless. I thanked them. But
Yeah, they're human beings and they
Exactly.
also want to have like the same kind of dialogue.
even if you're being nice and your energy is stressy, like I
I
think
agree.
there's so
Yeah.
much communication that happens between humans that we don't see.
Yeah.
I
The
totally agree with
energetic
that.
So true.
exchange, it doesn't matter what you're saying, it's the energy behind it.
And that's why texts aren't
Oh,
difficult to send.
yes.
I'm very short on text because I am a voice note person.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I'm like
we
always
do
like,
that with
hello,
it.
can we do?
Yeah. You got to hear the person and feel
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
person.
I think it really translates into what you're saying. Like you said, you could be saying the same exact thing and you could be perfectly nice, but
Yeah.
if you aren't like happy within,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the happiness isn't like coming from inside of you, people feel it.
Yes.
Oh, for
And
sure.
they have an aversion to you.
Yeah. And I think you actually end up attracting that
Yes.
energy. Like then
Yes.
you end up having people who are matching that come up to you and
So
start
true.
interacting. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's what you're putting out. And it's a hard cycle to beat.
Yeah. And I think it takes time for people to get to that point in
Yes,
their lives.
definitely.
But and it's a constant practice. I think some people have it and some people might not as much, but regardless, it is a constant practice and you need to remind yourself that everyone else is a human just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you. And you know, they want to be asked how their day is.
Yeah.
They want to have a nice dialogue. Like the airport's a perfect example.
Exactly.
Whenever I'm like, "How are you?" and they're like, "Thank you so much for asking," because they've probably
Yes.
been there since
the
2
time.
in the morning or whatever, and they're have an overnight shift or whatever it might be, and they leave feeling good too, and you leave feeling good.
Yeah.
I think everyone is working hard and they're doing their best, and
Yeah.
I think it's like the little part that we can all do in making every mundane interaction a little bit better.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think there's every airport in the world that I've been to and a lot of places because I used to travel every week to a different country where someone has my lipstick. One airport desk host or whatever has my lipstick.
I love it.
Like in Barcelona, there was one time
You're
we got
Santa, that's what they say.
Yeah, but also I would get a lot of shit for giving stuff all the time. Like, how can you keep giving? How can you keep giving? Are you just a fake person? Because why are you so nice all the time? And it stopped me from being nice for a little bit. I was like, okay, I'll just stop being like this.
Don't let
and
the
it
haters
hurt
bring
me.
you down.
It hurt me so much. And people still till today, they're like, oh, Natasha's nice to everyone. And I'm like, but that's not a bad thing. Like, I don't see how that's a bad
I
thing.
don't think it's a bad thing. I
Yeah.
also think that no matter who you are,
Yeah.
people will have something to say about
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
whether it's good, whether
It's
it's
so
bad.
true.
And I think that if you stick, I mean, this is how I live my life. If you stay true to like what your goal is on this earth, and for me, it's to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's on my board, make a difference. And actually in my high school yearbook, I was voted most likely to make a difference. And I
Hell
really
yeah.
I
carried
love
that with me throughout my life because that could mean something different every day and in every moment. But like in my work, I'm making a difference because I'm bringing, you know, dynamic places to each neighborhood.
Yeah.
With Visionary Women, I'm making a difference in the female world, and I'm bringing women together to make a difference and to, you know, generate money and
Yeah.
to, you know, do other great things all together. And, you know, at the airport, I'm making a difference by being nice to someone. It could
Exactly.
be as little or as small, but I really
Yeah.
keep that motto with me because
that.
I think we all have to play our part in the world and do something.
Were you always nice?
Was I always nice? Yes.
Always. Were you Miss Popular in school, or were you the bully? Were you bullied?
So I went to an all-girls high school, which actually
Ooh.
was like one of the best experiences of my life. Shout out to Archer, the Archer
my
School for Girls. I'm still, a lot of my best friends are from
there.
Archer, and they are like
That's
my
why you have the
sisters.
sisterhood vibe.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
I don't have sisters. Of course, my mom is my sister. But yeah, I think it really taught me to love all women. I wouldn't say I had I guess I had a group of friends, but not really. Like I was friends with my whole grade. There were like 69 girls. Speaking
Oh
of
my
69, I know,
gosh.
there were actually 69 girls in my grade.
Oh my God. LOL.
And I know, I feel like that's the theme of the podcast today.
The title.
Oh gosh, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
We're sorry. But Archer really allowed, and I think it's like any all-girls school, allowed everyone to like find their space.
Nice.
And I got involved with student council, And I think that was like really great for me because I was able to do like what I wanted to do. And some of my friends weren't involved in anything, and some of them were involved in theater, and some of them were, you know, there was a place for everyone. And I think I don't think there was like popularity at the school. Like maybe someone else would have categorized it as popularity, but it wasn't like there was a popular group and a not popular group.
Right.
At least in my eyes, I think it was like everyone was just doing what was best for them.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I live my life now. Like I see a lot of people getting offended when, let's say you have a party, okay, and you invite all your friends and somebody can't come. I never get offended.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
They are doing what's best for them.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Absolutely.
100%.
Trust is so important.
Yeah.
And off air, we were talking about how you guys really trust each other. And I find that that's one of the biggest proponents of like everyone at work, specifically my brothers. Like I know that whatever decision that they make, I will trust.
Yeah.
And they will trust every decision that I make. And same with my team. Like I can't be there for every specific decision. And sometimes I'll say to them, whatever you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that because they spent more time on whatever it is, they will make the best choice.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge part of it.
But to get to that trust point is very difficult for someone like me who has major trust issues.
Yeah.
Major trust issues with everyone around me. I love everyone so much, but it's very hard for me.
Why do you have trust issues?
Because I realized it recently. I realized that it was a lot of doubt that I had in myself. I was like, but maybe they don't like, every time I go somewhere, by the way, if I'm speaking at an event, normally I'm like, oh, they probably think I'm stupid. They don't think I'm nice. They don't think I'm smart. They don't think,
Really
I say
harsh
all these,
inner voice.
yeah, really bad to myself.
No,
And so
that's
I've
not good.
started, it's really bad. I've started to change that a lot. And now I feel like I've almost elevated myself, and I can proudly
Amazing.
say it because now I'll walk in somewhere. I'm like, no, my energy is really good. I know my intentions are pure. I know that I'm not doing anything wrong to anyone. And if someone is reacting in a weird way or like is weird with me, it's their issue, not mine.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I've started to,
Totally. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
great that you noticed it because
Yeah.
That
so many people
awareness.
don't. And they live their life.
So many people.
And by the way, every single one of us on this couch and every single person in the world have flaws.
Oh,
As
yeah.
my dad says, you have a lot of great things about you and you have a lot of things that you can improve. But he means that about every person.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think
It's not personal. It's just
it's not
facts.
personal.
Yes.
And I think it's recognizing it and working on it is so important.
Yeah.
Not enough people do that. So
Yeah.
And so
kudos to you.
That's
Thank
a lot of
you.
also like breaking down ego.
Yes.
I think, you know, it's like ego is so easy to creep in. Even if you do have a self inner voice, it's hard to break that down and just be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And be like, wait, this is going on. How can I address it?
Yeah.
That
I
makes
was
a lot of
really
sense.
incredibly vulnerable yesterday on on our episode because I actually admitted it, and I will admit it again. Like, I don't think I would have ever said this before, but I feel like I was cocky at one point in my life when I got to a point where I was like killing it, traveling, doing all these amazing things. And that realization made me come to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, that was just my ego.
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped it. And as soon as I dropped it, I liked myself more. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I like me.
I
And
think
it's
that's
always
great.
there. Like
Yeah.
ego's always going to be with us. It's
Yeah.
just managing it
Managing
and being
it, yeah.
aware of it like makes the world of a difference.
Yeah.
Totally.
So much. I mean, I feel like if I learned anything today, my God, your parents are the
Yeah.
MVPs. You are so well adjusted.
Yeah.
Shout out to Angel
Yes.
and John.
So,
They're
yeah.
great.
And
So-
obviously the work you've done on yourself and the practices
Thank
that you
you.
have play a huge part in that. But it's just really cool to see, you know, the conversation about parents and how they treated each of you kids differently. And I have my nephews growing up and I'm like, I just want so much more of that in our world
Yeah.
because
So
this is
beautiful.
what happens.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to see this is the outcome
Yeah.
of like healthy parenting.
Yes.
You know, you
Yeah.
are the outcome. You are goals. Your mom is goals. Your dad is goals. Your brothers are goals.
yeah, they're great.
And that to me is like, I look at it as aspirational.
Yeah.
So you are a
100%.
manifestation board yourself.
Thank
I hope you know.
Yeah.
I
But
will
yeah.
definitely show you my board one day.
I can't wait. I'll show you mine right
I
now.
know. I need to see it.
Thank you so
But
much.
thank
Thank you guys
being
for having
here.
me. It was such an amazing conversation. And
Where can people find
Yes,
you?
I was going to ask.
they can find me on Instagram at Chloe Makhani, and they can find Casalina at casalina.la. And yeah, if you guys ever want to come to the restaurant, also Avondale Equities.
Avondale Equities, yeah.
At Avondale Equities. We're on TikTok. We're on
Oh,
Instagram.
okay.
Yes, we have a vibrant TikTok.
How very cool.
Just a few things going on.
Gosh,
Just
this
a
woman
few.
and visionary women.
And
How
Visionary Women, it's at GenV _ Visionary Women, or you can follow us at Visionary Women.
okay.
We have a lot of incredible events. And I think if you want, first of all, you can listen to Natasha and the rest of the panels speak. It's all online.
Oh, I
Nice.
didn't know
That's
that.
awesome.
Yes,
Okay,
which is
cool.
amazing. And then we're going to have our summit next year as well. So
Yay.
just
So great.
If we can support in any way, let
thank
us
you.
know,
And
yeah.
just stay tuned for Visionary Women and all of our other events, because we're going to have a lot of things coming up.
I'm just so
Amazing.
excited to watch your journey now that I
I
know
know.
you.
Thank
Like
Thank you.
I'm so inspired and I'm so excited to see what you
amazing.
do because
you.
you are so authentic and so aware, which is not super common in this
Yeah.
world. You know, we're all
You're
trying
just
to
such
get
a
there.
good human,
Yeah,
dude.
you
I love
Guys,
you.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to sit on this couch with you, because
Yes.
it was such a fun convo. And
Thank you.
you honestly, I feel like it made me dig deep and like think about things that I knew, but I never pieced them together. So you hit the nail on a few
little-
things.
Yeah.
It's a
I feel
little
like these
therapy.
pointers. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like
You're like, so this is why, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe.
like an inner therapist right here.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
it.
maybe I
Well,
need
that's
it.
why you guys have such a great podcast, because obviously you let the person chat, but you bring out things that maybe they didn't know.
I like to
Thank
dig.
you.
I like to dig.
We're
love it.
diggers,
Yeah.
I love
not
it.
just for gold.
Well, I'm so excited
Vulnerable
to
diggers.
listen. I've listened to a few of your episodes, but can't wait to listen to all the rest as
Thank
well.
you. Now we're gonna ask you what makes you most
Yeah,
vulnerable in our
we'll
little
go film
confession
Oh,
it.
I
booth.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a little IG moment.
What an incredible episode for entrepreneurs who need inspiration in life. And
Yes.
also, Chloe is just so, I mean, I knew this when I met her for the first time, that she's just so put together, but she is who she is. She's so real.
Yeah.
And I love it. She's like unapologetically fabulous.
I can't believe how, like, when she's just talking about the way she was raised and how amazing her parents
Yeah.
are. Like, I don't want to take away from who she is and
Yeah.
the work that she's done on herself, because she is intentional about that. And that obviously plays a huge part in who she is and her success. But, like, I'm just like, my goodness, a well-adjusted parental situation
Yeah.
can make such the world of a difference. And the way her and her brothers work together, like, wow.
Honestly, I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's my inspiration, because you always think about, like, especially now, I'm like, do I really want to have, I love children so much, you know this, but I'm like, do you want to have children in a world where it's like raising kids in this place where, I don't know, it's rough.
It's scary. I think
It's
there's a lot
scary.
of people, probably more than ever, except, I mean, maybe like Cold War or like different like massive things that have happened in our world.
Yeah.
But like more than ever, at least in our lifetime, people are seriously questioning whether or not they want to bring kids into the world.
Yeah.
And it's just so stressful, and it's hard enough as it is to take care of yourself right now with so
Exactly.
much circulating. But it's just so inspiring when you do see families
exactly.
like that.
This
Like,
was hope for me.
yeah. I mean, I'm so tight with my siblings,
Yeah.
and I have so much good out of that, but it's just when you see families like that, and that's why I was comparing her to like the Hudson family, like Kate Hudson's family, like you just listen to them talk about each other and you feel their energy. You can say the things, but it's the energy.
It's the energy. Yeah.
It's like
You could
you know
feel
how
it.
people say like you got to talk the walk?
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to like
You have,
energy the walk.
you have to walk the talk.
Or you have to walk the talk. That's what
You
it
have
is.
to
You
walk
have to
the
walk
talk.
the talk.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is you have to,
Feel the walk.
yeah, I guess so. There's another
our new
layer
thing.
there.
But
Like,
yeah.
it's not just like what you're saying or how you're maneuvering. It's like truly your energy. Like,
Yeah.
I just so believe that we are communicating with each other constantly.
Yeah.
And it's invisible.
Yeah.
Like you walk into the room and we're communicating.
Yeah. energy is. I think energy is the first thing that speaks up as soon as you enter a room.
Yeah, I mean, even when I came in this morning, like you felt it, and you were like, and I felt it a little bit too with you. We were just like, oh, we're tired.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm tired now.
Yeah, but that just
But also-
re-energized me, and it always does.
Yeah.
Every time we film this, it's just like a boost of energy in the best way. And
Yeah.
I thought it was really exciting to have a guest also that is not like specific to the beauty industry.
Yeah.
Like I don't get to have those conversations very often. Like she was
Yeah.
talking about her hospitality business in the restaurant space, and or the real estate restaurant space, and I was like, initially I was like, wait, is this like hospitality for like open
I
houses
know.
when they're selling properties? Like it's so,
Yeah.
over my head because
Yeah.
I'm just not. So I really enjoyed kind of hearing from an entrepreneur in a different space. And I think what's cool about this podcast is, even though it's called The Beauty Manifest, beauty means so much more.
For sure. It comes
us.
from anywhere.
It comes
yeah.
from
Everywhere.
And it can be any industry. And that's kind of like the basis of like what I'm talking about in the beauty industry, specifically what you're talking about with your brand. And
Yeah.
so it's cool to kind of have a different perspective. And
I just love how vulnerable she is, though.
Yeah.
Like, really, that was the one message I had throughout. It was like, oh my God, this is so perfect for our podcast
Yeah.
because she truly is what we want people to be.
Yeah.
Open up, be real, talk about your journey. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to talk about all the challenges and the failures, which is what I was also trying to see, like, oh, what are the challenges? But I realized that she's just so focused on her end goal
yeah.
that she's enjoying the journey and being a good person while she's reaching her goal. And that's
Yep.
aspirational to me. That's
And I think that's like
inspirational.
part of manifestation and part of goal setting is not getting caught up in like every step along the way, or not getting caught up in everything you have to do in order
Yeah.
to reach the end. It's figuring out how to be present and appreciate the process and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Like that's why I have so much confidence in this podcast, because we are doing this together because we want to.
Yeah.
And because we get to,
Yes.
and because we enjoyed this process
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what creates something that's what facilitates success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
But she
This
was
is really
incredible.
good. She was really, really inspiring to so many entrepreneurs, I feel. And she's also a book of knowledge. Like she just wants to help other women and
Yeah.
this visionary women thing. I spoke on this panel. It was so wonderful because I didn't mention it on the podcast, but it was actually the first time where I felt like I should just be comfortable with being myself and making silly jokes.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, you know what? They're all women. They're going to understand. I made a joke about I was like, oh, my divorce. I made a joke about it. And they all burst out laughing. And that
course.
gave me like a little, oh,
It's
I can talk about it.
relatable. It's
Yeah.
real.
It's real.
That's what people want. Even if they don't know that they want it, that's what we all subconsciously want.
Yeah. It's
So
true.
good for you.
Thank you.
You're helping people a lot more by doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Well, we hope you loved it. As always, let us know, and we'll see you next time.
Also, no, I
Oh,
have to
wait.
point out,
Bring it on.
you just pulled out things from her like a clairvoyant. That's what you did. Like everything that you said,
Thank
it was almost like I would be if I was in her position, I would look at it and be like, oh, I want to add this to my brand deck. Or like, like these are beautiful one-liners that you would just like, oh, that I could add to like why I am the way
You're
that I am.
very kind. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's all I want to do. That's what I got to do on set with Sephora. And this is just taking it another step farther and getting even deeper and getting to connect in an even deeper way. And I do feel like whatever clairvoyance is or means to me, it doesn't have a definition right
Yeah.
now, but I just so appreciate the opportunity to recognize how to pull out the vulnerabilities in people, because
Yeah.
I think it helps us all.
You're doing a
But
really
thank you
great job. I'm
that
so
means
proud
the
of you.
world.
I was literally sitting here like a proud mom. I was just
Oh,
like,
thank
I don't want to say
you.
anything. This is so cute. This is the first time I was so quiet like a mouse. I was like,
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Oh, this stupid mic's always in between us. It's a
Anyway.
barrier to love.
aren't they all?
Oh man, on that note.
On that note, I had to make my cuteness a little pervy.
We'll see you all
We'll
next
see you
time.
soon.